I think the deepest and worst part about this curse that I have, where I was made disabled, but I can't seem to get any help with my health in this aspect for like 25 years, 20 years, all that shit. Oh, fuck, I'm so tired of talking about it. But only on here, it's like the neurologist hears about the neurology part, the GI hears about the GI parts. Whatever is important for each doctor, I tell them. Not that it really matters. But here's the one of the shittiest parts about this. Anybody could fucking do this to anyone. Anybody who no longer wants to live or is suicidal, like my mother, who's willing to just pill or drink, or they're older and they're in their 80s or 90s, or whoever is almost done. All they have to do is cripple somebody and then cover it up long enough for their own death. That's it. There is nobody to pay for it. They're not getting their money back. They're not getting their legs back. Whoever you curse like this, whoever you curse like I got cursed by my mother, they're fucked for life. If you cripple somebody like my mother did to me, and then you are no longer alive to take responsibility, that person is cursed with their disability. For instance, if somebody were during my childhood to break my legs permanently, it's pretty close to what's happening now, and then off themselves, there is no avenue which I could get paid or get better or go to the doctors if it was covered up. If I can't prove it, you're screwed. But this can happen to anybody. You piss off the wrong person, oh no, shit, you end up like me, crawling around the city looking for health care while everybody goes, what the hell happened to you? You got any proof? And then you gotta spend every last dime you got trying to get medical care like I do. And this curse can be passed on to anybody who wants it. And the only way it ends is with death. And trust me, after you catch this curse, you start praying for it. You start not wanting to really help society through their struggles anymore. Because like I give back quite more than most, and then I just get hurt in return. It's really common that people take, 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 and if you're a giver, then they like to kick, kick, kick. See if they can get every last penny out of you. You know what I mean? Again, like, oh, well, we only got a couple quarters come out of the ears, and we got a dollar coming out of the stomach. Let's see if we kick them in the sides, and we can get a couple pennies and quarters to come out of the neck. And that's pretty much people's mindset now. How much can we get out of one another? And it's really, really messed up. But people forget that bad things happen in life. And when you get to my point, there is nothing worse than, I mean, death is not scary to me. What's scary is life, living. Living is more scary than dying for me, especially if there's no heat. If I got no heat, I'll lose it. No, I am not seizing like that every day. I will literally just go and treat myself, and that will be it. Then it's time for my last mission because I just can't live like that. Even with God on my side, I mean, I will be useless to society. I can't move, can't walk, can't eat. There's nothing I can do. And then it's just left for whatever town to kick me, beat me, play with me. No, no, God doesn't want that for me. No way. No way. That's the evil of man right there. That's the same thing that crucified Jesus. That's the evil in which people have in their hearts. And they need to let it go. Because this curse, this evil curse of disability, this where anything can happen at any time on this planet, can fall on any of us, and our whole lives can be turned upside on a dime. For me, it started at age 7. I never had a chance, but I have seen grown adults one minute have everything, and the next minute be pushed around in a wheelchair trying to get medical care. And then you got to deal with your sins too. It's one thing to be disabled and lose all your money, but then another thing if you pass on and you don't have a clean soul and you have nothing to hold on to, nothing to raise you up. If you don't have anything that'll raise you up and hold on to on your last dying thoughts, oh, I feel sorry for you. If you remember protecting the peace by shooting other people, and you've heard just horrible things like you're like here, you got disabled people, elderly people getting hurt. What has anybody done? When you go on, you got to see things from the other point of view of the people you interacted in life. Every single person that I had even the smallest interaction, if I cut them off one day while driving, I don't drive though, well, say I did, then I went on my way. But because I cut them off, 15 minutes later they got in a car crash. That might be a flickering memory as you pass on, as you go on to the other side. One decision you made to go through a red light never meant anything to you in your whole entire life. But now you've passed on and you get to realize a child hit their head against a windshield because of you. These are the decisions that we make in life. And because we're all connected, we get to see that. So not only is there karma, and not only can this curse fall on anybody, on top of that, you do have to see what you've done to other people from their eyes, feel their pain, and then be forgiven by them. And that's something I don't know if I will get. None of us do. We don't get to forgive ourselves. We all think we're good people. But it's how other people judge you and treat you is how you can tell if you're a good person. If one person is putting their hands on you but they walked away without a mark, you're a good person. You could have grabbed him, hit him in the balls, you could have smacked his face, you could have done so many things. But you were a good person, you took it. You can look at the deeds you did. How many people are in homes? How many hookers are no longer hooking? How many drug addicts are off drugs? How many old people are indoors? How many more people interactions have you seen and stopped? How many bad situations have you got into the middle of and stopped? How much God have you passed? How much positivity has you passed? Are you always a negative person? Because keep in mind, hate is like a virus that spreads. If you're rude, violent, hateful, hurtful, evil, liar, if you like to make up stories or just twist things to hurt the disabled, or even if you just like to put other people down, all those things will become contagious and will come back. It just becomes a contagious mess where everybody's doing it all the time. Meanwhile, positivity is exactly the same way. If you're polite, helpful, kind, looking out for other people's grandmothers, not just your own, looking out for everybody in general, people you never met, people you hate, literally, people that are jerks, thinking about their well being. Do you do that? Because I do. I mean, there are many assholes in this building I do not like, but I still wish their well being. If the car was going to hit them, I don't care. I'm still pushing them out of the way. I'll take that hit. Why? Because everybody's health should be important. Everybody's life is important. If I can save my life and his, then why not? Just because I don't like the guy, I'm not going to try. I'm not going to run across to try to get him in the safety. No, of course not. People don't get it with me. They don't get it how they can be hateful towards me, or they can make a mistake, or they can be drunk, and then all of a sudden I'm forgiveful and I'm talking to them normal. It's because I believe in forgiveness and moving on, but if you continue making that same mistake, that's when problems happen because eventually people do break. Now, me, I move on, but I also do have a problem. I will not allow anybody to get hurt. If I see a problem, I have to put myself in the way. Like if I see a child, elderly people, disabled people who are going to get lots of them get hurt for a long period of time, I have to stick myself in the way of that, even if it kills me. I cannot allow multiple disabled people, multiple elderly people, multiple children to get hurt. That would be stupid of me. That would be evil. I would never forgive myself. How could God forgive me for walking away from that? So I do have obligations, and that's just because I'm a deeper person than most. Most people don't even believe God, don't believe in God or His messages. Me, I didn't either until I had lots of injuries and head injuries and saw stuff that I couldn't explain. And now I'm just a believer. That's it. I went from being not a believer at all to, oh my God, this is real. Oh my God, this is very real. Oh my God, this is very, very real. Thank you, God. So, it's easy for me. I don't expect you to believe in God. You have to find that yourself. You have to pray and see for yourself. It's not something I can give to you. Not something I believed. It's not something somebody gave to me. Something I prayed on. Something bad happened. Something bad happened. And then while unconscious, something good happened. So that's why I believe is a dream or a message, whatever you want to call it. And looking for weird signs. Like one time I prayed in front of a church and my prayer was answered in like 3 to 5 minutes. A miracle. No way this in just million years, one in a billion chance happened. But I was looking for those signs, and I did pray, and I was in front of a church, and my prayers were answered. Yeah, I literally had like a bag of McDonald's drop out of the sky. A guy literally just pulled up, brought me to McDonald's, gave me the food, and then 5 minutes later I was had exactly what I prayed for, food. It was amazing. Literally in like a 5 minute prayer time. Pray, 5 minutes later what I prayed for was in my hand. It was, oh my God, it was mind blowing. And that wasn't even the first one. That wasn't even the first sign for me. And the message, if you really, really like meditate and you try to get deeper into your spirituality, you might be able to look for these things yourself as well. But see, this is the problem. People aren't spiritual today. They're looking outside themselves for goodness. They're looking outside themselves for happiness. Instead of asking God for strength and being happy because they're happy with themselves. They don't need any more. God has given you everything you need today, so you can be happy. You don't have to have anything else. All I need is warmth, some type of shelter out of the rain, know that I have a meal coming at some point and some water, and I'm happy. But if I'm cold, shaking, and an ambulance is pulling me to the hospital, I even try to make the best of that, but it's not. Especially knowing that it's other people's choices for 25 years doing this to me. I mean, even when I was a young kid, there was a time where I really wanted to leave the beach because it got too chilly for me. Nobody cared that I was crying about the cold. Then they all left me there because I couldn't stand up and get out. So this has been going an ongoing thing. Now, anybody who tells you this was from my drug years or some shit like that, they're bozos. They're bozos who don't want to look at records. If you just look at my photographs from age 5 on, it's very clear something really fucking shitty happened to me and was covered up. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. You can look at the death certificates, the travel, the birth certificates. You can go over the different states I was in, the pictures, the medical reports, and it gives you a plain picture of somebody who went through some serious shit, had it covered up, and now never can get medical care for it. But I turn to Jesus because I know I'm going to have to keep on being in pain for the rest of my life. And every time I get an infection or a landlord kicks me in the ribs and I get a bruise or anything serious, I'm going to have more serious issues with walking, moving, talking, whatever. So yeah, one of these days I'm not sure how well my sanity is going to stay together. But at least I know I don't have to go through all that bullshit crazy talk that my mother tried to go through. Oh my God, did I go downhill quick. I mean, oh God, all those pills I was spinning, up, down. Oh, don't do drugs, kids. Don't do Thorazine, don't do Seroquel at young ages. If your mother tells you to do a bunch of Thorazine, Remeron, Seroquel, Trazodone, whatever, maybe get a second opinion and stay with that doctor for a good long time. Don't be messing around up and down on meds. This one, that one, this one, 5 of these, 2 of these, 1 of these. Craziness with my mother. If you see that, call the authorities right away. Now that probably won't happen because you probably aren't an orphan like me. But if you are, or you're going through that, seek help. Because even if you are speaking up at the doctors, if there's nobody coming to take you out of that home right away, then you haven't done enough. You need to be taken out of that home, and there needs to be an investigation because it doesn't end well. Trust me, you might not know what's going on at 15, or maybe even 13, or maybe even 12. But if somebody out there is wondering what's going on with their wife or their friend or their sister or their mother or their daughter, and they see medications being mixed around a lot of times and a lot of weird diagnoses is being messed up, and you hear your kids saying, no, that's not true, no, that's not true, this could be a problem. If you're moving state to state, keep an eye on that. Moving state to state can be a sign of something bad, like trafficking drugs. It can have a lot of different connotations. You should also keep an eye on the child and what he's doing, like where education standards are. If it's an adult, you also want to keep on why they're moving around so much. But, why did the adult want to? Is it jobs? Who originally wanted the move and why? What are they giving up? What are they gaining? There's a lot to this. In my case, nobody cared. So now I'm a 31-year-old who can't get medical care. I had to figure it out on my own. I didn't have any brothers, sisters, or anybody figuring this out for me. I had help. But I'm telling you right now, if you see something, say something. Like, for instance, I see a moldy hole getting old people sick. I see a landlord who's okay with assaulting disabled men and elderly men. I see a landlord who was going up and down the hallways, seemed drunk to me, and also yelling about some beer cans outside on a hill. Well, what I think is either his or the neighbors, or I don't know what's going on with that, but I think there was something bigger going on between him and one of the other tenants. But either way, he was drunk and screaming and acting very inappropriate with tenants. So, with all this going on, it's somebody definitely needs to take the brunt of this so it will stop. And it looks like that's going to be me. No matter what, I am not going to let people get hurt. If this is my last mission, it's my last mission. I save 20 children in the next 15 years, great. I don't, I don't. I get the help and it gets a report down and the building has to get fixed up before rented out, great. I get to move to South Carolina, join a church, and open up a support group. There's a million ways I can help people, but not if I'm outside shaking. So it all depends on what justice we get. What is today's version of justice? Is it crippling, hitting, kicking disabled people, getting elderly people sick and putting them in the hospital? Is it literally turning people insane, twisting their head? What is the level of help we want to give to society today? What type of people are we?